Mr Farage, how did you feel going into this meeting this morning, and how are you feeling now you come out of it?
Well, I wanted to do it because I'd seen this never-ending stream of Remain supporters, or Ramonas as they're now known, Sir Nick Clegg, Lord Adonis, Ken Clarke, and they've all been going in there. And frankly, he's got the impression of Brexit that is very different to why it really happened. But I wanted to go and test, because I know that of the 17.4 million people that voted Brexit, whilst there were several reasons, the kicker was open-door immigration. That was the one that mobilised many people to go and vote in that referendum and to defy, the global leaders. It's very interesting. I asked him a question at the beginning. I asked my people on LBC to send in questions, and thousands did. And when I explained to him that immigration was the major reason for voting to leave, he just looked uncomprehendingly at me. So it's clear to me that nobody has been in that office making that argument. So at least if I got something through there, that's good.
So what did come out of the meeting? What did he say? Were there any words of reassurance over what you were saying?
What came out of the meeting is that this is an unfailingly polite and well-mannered man who is a total believer in the European project. It's like a religion to him. I said to him, I think you're representing Brussels and not the member states and the companies and workers within it. He believes they're one and the same thing. What really came out of it is the fact, number one, the British government has not been representing Labour's views on immigration, and we've made no progress whatsoever on that subject. And number two, when it comes to the prospects of a future trade deal as part of phase 2 of all of this, whilst he's quite happy to do something on goods, well, he would be, wouldn't he? Europe sells us more than we sell them. When it comes to services and financial services, there is a deep reluctance. And I think that in phase 1, the British government gave a lot of money, big role to the European Court of Justice, all sorts of things that we conceded in phase 1 just to get to phase 2. Now, it's for the European Union to start giving a bit back, and if they don't, then these talks will break down, and you do face the prospect that Britain may well just leave on WTO rules.
So do you want a deal or not?
I want a deal, because short term, it makes life a bit easier. Long term, in a changing global economy, it makes almost no difference directly, but gives us opportunities outside across the rest of the world. But a short-term deal would be a good, sensible thing.
Tony Blair was saying early on Euronews last week that voters could change their mind. It was down to the EU to reform for Brexit maybe not to happen. What do you say to that? I mean, is your dream of Brexit dying slowly?
Well, no, because the dream of Brexit, as you put it, isn't just winning in the United Kingdom, it's winning in Catalonia, Hungary, Poland, and all over the European Union as we speak. There is a major historic change that I believe we're not even in the middle of. Blair bases everything on a series of economic predictions. And I would just point out, he was wrong about the exchange rate mechanism, he was wrong about Britain joining the euro, he was wrong, albeit non-economic, about the war in Iraq, and people like him in the referendum saying dire things would happen. We've just finished the year of 17 with growth higher than predicted, with a manufacturing production the highest for 30 years, foreign direct investment at record levels. Hey, Britain's doing pretty well.
But why shouldn't voters get a second chance to vote on the final deal? Because it could well be very different to what you were promising as part of your campaign.
We voted to leave.
But it could be very different.
We voted to leave. It's very simple.
But on what basis? And it's changing all the time.
We voted to... It hasn't changed a bit. We voted to leave. Do you know why? We wish to govern our own country. End of.
What do you hope will come out of the reshuffle in the UK today?
Well, it's a piece of very good news, actually. To see a minister being appointed that will deal with Brexit if there's no deal shows the Prime Minister is beginning to listen to the kind of business arguments of saying we can't spend years wasting our time on a deal that may not happen.
Just finally, where do you go from this meeting today? What are you going to be doing? I mean, how much clout do you really have here now?
Oh, do you know, I've been here 20 years, and right from day one, people have told me I'm wasting my time. I reckon I've done okay.
But you got quite a mixed reaction on social media, didn't you?
Well, of course, it's a democracy. We all get a mixed reaction. Anybody with an opinion gets a mixed reaction. But I've learned a lot today. I've learned the absolute incomprehension of the European Commission as to why Brexit happened, which suggests to me it'll happen in other countries too. I've learned that the British government is not pushing immigration as an issue at all, and I've learned that the next round of negotiations is going to be even tougher than I thought they were going to be.
In summary, do you think Barnier listened to what you had to say? Do you think any of your points will be actioned?
I think that Barnier as a religious believer in the European project, found my arguments and my thoughts completely outside anything he could ever wish to understand.
So you go away with little hope?
I go away with the hope of one thing, that I have sowed a seed, a hope, that if it is a no deal, it's European companies and European workers that will get hurt far more than British workers. They need us actually far more than we need them. And I'm hoping later in this week, when a couple of quite big British business figures come here, he may begin to get some more of that narrative. I hope in the end he becomes concerned that the Brits are getting so fed up they might walk away, that it could really genuinely hurt Europe. And then it'll be his job to put the interests of European citizens above the interest of these glass and steel structures.